Good day, everyone. Community Associations Institute is pleased to welcome you to today's webinar entitled Website Unveiled, Your Guide to CAI's New Digital Home. Your speaker today is Nate Folger with support from Ray Richards, Anusha Gutikonda, and Vicky Santinello. My name is Alden Michaels. I will be facilitating today along with my CAI colleague, Jake Gold. The session today will last about 60 minutes. If you have any questions for our panel, please enter it into the Q&A section. We'll do our best to answer all questions. We do have an October webinar coming up on security systems and insurance presented by Lauren DeVoe, Bill Gorley, and Maria Cal. That'll be held on Wednesday, October 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Registration is going to open soon, so we'll look forward to seeing you there as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it right over to our panel and to Nate. Nate, the audience is all yours.
Thank you, Alden. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Nate Folger. I am the digital website marketing manager here at CAI. And today I'm very excited and proud to present to you the new CAI Online. As Alden said, I'll also be joined by some other members of the CAI team, Nusha, Ray, and Vicky. They've been core members of our website team as we've been working on this redesign. They'll be available in the chat if you'd like to ask any questions during the presentation, as well as afterwards when we have a Q&A portion. So let's get into this. So just a little overview of what we're going to be walking through today. I'm just going to give you all a brief background and history on the project, what led us to do this redesign, give you some of the goals that we had for this new website, and then of course, the main star of the show, we're going to give you a site walkthrough. And then at the end of it, we're going to give you some time for questions if you have anything you'd like to ask. So to begin, of course, the main question on everyone's mind, why did we need a new website? There were many reasons of why we needed to redesign the old website. Some were more obvious than others. The main one was the site was very old. It was about 9 years old. It was launched back in 2015. On average, most companies, most B2B businesses, business-to-business websites, they redesign in some fashion, whether that be a complete overhaul or just a kind of a cosmetic uplift. They do that about every 3 years. We also found that the previous content management system we were using, SharePoint, it was out of date and it wasn't really user-friendly. It didn't allow us to communicate our messaging as a modern website. It just was not really user-friendly for us. You didn't have the components and tools available for modern websites to make it a really interactive site for users. So it was time for us to move on from that SharePoint content management system. We also found that the site navigation on the old site was very clunky. It negatively impacted user experiences and it kind of hurt our performance with search engines. If it's hard for users to look around through the site and find content, it's just as hard for search engines like Google and Bing to do the same thing. We also found that there were a high number of irrelevant pages on the site, which also created poor user experiences and hurt us in our search engine optimization. Same thing, if you have pages that have content that is years and years old, that negatively hurts our Google performance. They don't want to show pages organically to people that are old and not useful. We also found in our organization at the time we had some inconsistent website maintenance practices. We were very siloed teams in the organization. Departments were kind of working on a free-for-all on the old website. One team would make an update on one side of the site, another team would do the same thing, and it'd be very inconsistent. And we wouldn't have communication or visibility into the workflows or changes that were being made on the website. So that was a big thing for us to move forward with the new website, is that we would have those consistent website maintenance practices. And finally, our old site was not accessible or useful for all internet users, people with disabilities or who use assistive technologies. Our site was not built for those people in mind. So that was another key thing for us, another pain point that we wanted to kind of strike with this new website. So with these in mind, we set out to find a vendor that could help us build this new site experience that we were hoping to build, we were proposing. And so we worked with the Chicago web-based design firm called American Eagle. They're a fantastic team and they did a fantastic job working with us. We had such a great time collaborating with them throughout this project. And to begin the project for them, at the start, what they did for us is they conducted a content audit. So basically with some tools they did and with their experts, they went through and they combed the entire site that old SharePoint site. And during that time, they actually identified that we had, I think, only around 15,000 pages on the old website, which is just absurd for any organization to try to maintain that many pages on a website. So they went through and combed the site, and did a content audit. They also had an interview with some of our stakeholders at CAI, like our CEO, Chief Strategy Officer, our VP of Communications, Marketing, Creative. They want to get their input, see what their goals are for the organization, see what our mission was, where we would like to see ourselves in the next few years. And with all those in mind, they came together and they helped build out a new package for us, this new website, on a new content management system platform known as Kintico. And then they also helped provide the data to help us, set goals for this new website. So let's walk through some of those, what the new goals for the site was. Obviously, with this new website, one of the main things we want to achieve with it is we wanted to strengthen our brand position as a thought leader in the community association industry. We have the great solid content that we provide to our members and non-members. So we want to make sure that our site visually and functionally backed that up. It had the strength to have that weight for the content. Additionally, we want to create a website that supported lead generation and nurturing of new members and retaining current members. Retention and growing our member base is a big thing for us. And so we want to make sure that our site supported that as well to achieve that goal. For you all, of course, too, we want to make sure that the site was more user-friendly, that you had an easier way to navigate for it, and find the information and resources that help you in your day-to-day. Moreover, we want to make sure that the content management system was streamlined and consistent, and we were getting away from those siloed teams, as I've mentioned before. A big thing, too, is we wanted to improve our SEO visibility. We want to make sure that when people are looking for things related to the community association industry or CAI, we're ranking high. So we want to make sure that our website can support that. And finally, again, we wanted to make sure that we were boosting accessibility for all users on the internet, especially those with disabilities or who use assistive technologies. We want to make sure that they can access our content and interact with our site the same way as anyone else can. So those are some of the big goals that we had for this website. And so without further ado, let's get into it. This is the new CAI Online. I'm very proud to present this to everyone. It was a great journey building this out, and I think this is a lot more user-friendly, and it really supports what you need to be a member and be successful in your work that you do. So first off, I want to point out that we are seeing this from the logged in view. When you're not logged in the site, it's going to simply pop up here right next to that search where you can simply click login. Same as you have before, your same login credentials, you can access the site from there. And when you're clicking into this blue box on the side, this is where now you can find all your account information. You'll have your first name there. You'll be able to find all your details around your membership. You'll have seen any education and events that you've registered for that you've done in the past or have upcoming. You can also look at your online learning. You can look at details about purchases that you made in the bookstore. You can look at details about your membership. So this is a really handy tool that's also going to always follow you throughout your site experience when you're navigating through the new CAI Online. As you can see here, as I scroll, this top navigation is always going to be there for you. So you'll always have these drop downs and that blue navigation box for you to sign and find your member information there. Additionally, the new site was made, again, with that content audit from American Eagle to really support the member experience. If you remember on the old site, this top navigation, there were many things that it was somewhat confusing to everyone, and it didn't really, especially if you were a non-member, it didn't really communicate what was the valuable resources that you as a CAI member are coming to the site to engage with. So that's how this new site has been built out, because we, with the help of American Eagle, we kind of identified that the most important things for you all is making sure you have access to education programs and details on professional credentials. We want to make sure that you had access to see details on all the events that we host, as well as your member resources. We want to have those all in one place for you now. And those are all to be found here: the exchange, advocacy, the publications, HOA resources, access to the Foundation website, the case law database, as well as access to the Directory of Professionals and Professional Service Directory and the Career Center. So that's all found here in those resources drop down for you all now. If you like, let's take a little bit deeper into some of these pages. Excuse me. So now we have this new education overview page. This is going to be the hub for everything you need to access your education and find everything about education programs at CAI. Whether you're a business partner, community association manager, homeowner leader, this is kind of the central information for all details that are coming up for, or all education details at the organization. Additionally, you can find these new tile cards. It kind of makes it a little bit easier for some of us to register once you simply click on that call to action button, learn more. You're then taken over to, again, that new redesign LMS system where you can go ahead and complete your registration, find more details, course information, pricing, all things like that. Additionally, too, if you same thing as you can find here in that drop-down menu when you're signed in, you can access your CAI education too from that page as well. All that logged in at the moment. Additionally, we have educations for all member types, an individual page for the you all as well, with access to get theirs for your based on your member type. All education related to the manager programs can be found on these pages on the manager page. All education for business partners can also be found on that page. And oops, yeah. And additionally, we have the education for homeowners and the board leader certificate access for that program here on this page. With options for people to, again, purchase the course, learn more details. There's even an option to view a past webinar, or excuse me, a past course. Another thing I want to pop over to is the new events pages. This is the new overview for all the events that take place at CAI. We've treated it a little bit differently, as you kind of might remember from the old site, where you would really just see the upcoming event for that year. We're not treating the new site like that. We want to make sure that if you are a user that's never seen the site before, or if you really want to learn something about an event you've never attended before, we want to make sure there's like an overview page for that specific event as it relates to the brand. So we have those for all of our core events now. For annual conference, we have a main page for there with access for someone to still register for that upcoming event. As well as options to still see that RD mobile app solution that we still use that will have even deeper details for that specific event. But if you want to know about everything you can get as a member, or excuse me, as an attendee at an annual conference, this is the page where you can learn all that information. But in continuing education units, networking opportunities, what you'll gain from the speakers that will be in attendance. You can also look at some of our past event photo albums to see what's gone on in previous years. And again, we have a page for all of our key events here at CAI. Additionally, and this is probably what's going to be most important for a lot of our members, is this drop down here, the resources. This is basically why you are a member of this organization. It's all going to be found here. If you'd like to access the exchange, you can do so very simply from that drop down. For our members at advocacy, our advocacy priorities are a high issue for you or high topic. You can all find that here. This is the new, what I would say, like the hub, the homepage for all of our advocacy items. Again, if you want to find if you want to looking for issue priorities that are being tracked by CAI, you can all find them here. For example, I know it could be very important for some people right now looking for disaster response and recovery. That can be found here on this page. You can find information on all this public policies, and the information will be collected on there and tracked. That's been collected by our government affairs team on a number of different topics. Additionally, we still have, as we saw on the old site, we have legislative policy tracking maps that are following sessions across the United States on a number of different topics related to the community association industry. And you can find those all here in this call out of the advocacy site. The Community Association Law and Lawyers page can all be accessed to from that advocacy page. If you need information on your legislative action committee, you can also find that on this page here. If you're looking to find some opportunities on advocacy efforts that you'd like to get out with like public officials, you can find that here in the Take Action call out on the advocacy page. Um, again, with more information to become an advocate, as well as an access to the advocacy blog, where we have these new cards where you can kind of see a highlight of what the article is, where you can also click in with that call to action button. That'll take you over to the old advocacy blog, as you probably all remember and working with in the past. Something else I would like to show everyone too, related to the advocacy side, is something we're all very proud of here at CAI, is the new case law database. It's very new and improved. Back in the old site, I think it was really just a collection of hyperlinks where you would access and you could find or maybe find some of your topics. But now with this new site, we've built in a way for you to use. You can search a keyword. You can browse by state to find certain case law entries, or you can use by the categories that we built in. So, for example, let's look up for entries on association operations. You simply just need to click that, and now everything that we have in the site is tagged, and you can find it here, all with that red banner there too as well. Same thing. We could probably we could search for something. Let's say testicles. Same thing with that search functionality. With that simple keyword, we're able to find all items on the site right now related to assessments. It looks like there's about up to 10 pages of these items. And when you click into them, these are exclusive for all CAI members. The login. And this is what a new case law database entry looks like. There are about 1,700 of these entries that exist within this database. And of course, there's going to be more as time goes on. I think we're going to be updating this annually. I could be incorrect, but I do think that's the plan for our advocacy team. So it is a very new, improved system. Oops, excuse me. And again, that can be found from that resources dropdown. I also want to show everyone the new and improved publications page. This is where you can find information on all CAI publications, such as Common Ground, CAI at Home, Community Manager, HOA resources, the CAI blog. You can find it all here on this new publications page, again, that you can access from the resources dropdown. And again, has a really nice new and improved look. It looks like a modern news organization. That's how we want folks to interact with it. As well as we have these new cards here at the bottom where you can find information on all individual publications that we have here at CAI, with options to read through some of those preview articles and subscribe if you'd like to learn more about them. Of course, everyone is a member, so you probably won't need to do that. Additionally, on the site, if anyone ever wants to get in contact with us, here at the bottom of the site, we always have this contact us form, or this contact us button that you can click on. Again, that exists on every page across the site. It's the same everywhere. And what we have now are opportunities for you all to reach out to us through phone, email, all of our different departments that we have on the site. If you have personal contact changes, we have this button now that you can reach out to us to do that specifically, or you can simply just fill out this request form, or this form, with your request, just with some simple information, click submit, and that will get sent to our customer service department where we can respond to your requests as soon as possible. Additionally, in this bottom area, you will also find our press room. This is where all press releases that are maintained by our media relations officer is taken care of here and maintained, and you can find access to those. I think almost every, or probably about the last 3 years of press releases we have on this page as well. If you'd like to find access to the bookstore, You can also do that here at the top of the page. It's always going to be, again, it's always going to be existed at that top part. Um, in that new redesigned bookstore, as you see, it kind of matches the design and feel of the new site. But the navigation is pretty much this, and the functionality is pretty much the same as what you might remember when you used to use the bookstore. For anyone that would like to find a chapter in their local area or region, you can do that in two places. One, you can find it here in the Find a Chapter uh, button right here that again exists in the top navigation, or from the Become a Member drop down, you just click Find a Chapter. And again, this takes us to the new map feature that's been created to us or custom designed for us by American Eagle, where someone, or if you're looking to find information on the chapters in your state, you can simply click on that state. And on here on that side accordion menu, you can go ahead and just look through and find the appropriate area closest to you. You can also additionally on this accordion menu, you can just simply just slide through it too. Say you want to find, Maryland, for example. Just expand Maryland, and you will be able to find all the contact information for the chapters in that state. And you can also find information for our international chapters right here at the bottom with these cards as well. Or excuse me, with these buttons as well. And for more information on chapters, just simply click this button, learn more about chapters. Or you can find information that you've probably seen before on the old site. Chapter benefits, chapter looking at past award winners for the chapter awards, the events calendar for any chapters trade shows that are going on throughout the states. And then we also have chapter staff specific only content that can be accessed from here as well. um, so I have to say that is pretty much the new CAI Online. Again, I'm very excited for this new experience. As we've mentioned before, this is going to be a work in progress. What we have here for you all is not set in stone. We are going to be continually learning and improving on this site. We are putting in new, like I said before, we are putting in new standards for or excuse me, new practices for our website maintenance and governance. So we're going to be looking at trying to make updates and changes to the site. We would love to hear your feedback and have any improvements that you might suggest. We would love to hear that too as well, and how we can make optimization to the site. But for this portion, as we kind of close out, I'd like to open the floor to any questions, anyone. Is there anything we can answer?
Well, we've got a few that are just saying hi to you. Uh, and a lot of people saying that the site looks wonderful, and thank you so much for those comments. Uh, we do have a couple here that Anusha has answered, but we'll go ahead and throw them out there. Is there a way to remain logged into the website, or do we have to log in each time for security purposes?
I will punt that over to Anusha if you can answer that.
Everyone, yeah, for the security purposes, we require the users to log in, authenticate themselves instead of remaining active for unexpired sessions. So that's the change with the new website.
Thank you. Is there anything else we can answer?
Yeah. So somebody asked, where is the open discussion page? Did is that still there? Did I miss that in the walkthrough?
Open discussion. I will say, when we were looking at launching the site, we kind of look at this in phases. So we want to have the priority content, what we needed for day one to completely maintain all of your member experiences. We want to have that ready for when we went live. Right now, we're moving into phase two, where pages such as that one are now kind of being built out. So hopefully, in a short time, we'll be able to provide some more information on when that site will be ready and where you can access that.
Can you share the links to the exchange from the homepage?
Yes.
Thank you.
So if you'd like to access the exchange, it's very simple from the homepage. You just scroll down right below the fold, as like we like to say in marketing. And this first tile, you just click that, expand it. You'll see that brief text, and you can click that call to action button that says visit now. Take it right over to the exchange. Additionally, like I said before, from the resources dropdown, it's the first item there as well, where you can click into the Exchange too, and it'll open up a new tab for you.
Okay, excellent.
And Nate, there's one other question. Someone had a question about how we can search for articles on topics. Can you do a sample search?
Certainly, certainly.
Thanks.
So the search for functionality is similar to like the case law database. If you have um, any keyword you'd like to input in here, so for example, disaster recovery is one. You just quickly hit search. You also have these filtering options where you can filter between the content types that exist on the site. You can also filter by most relevant data, alphabetical, oldest, or most recent. But again, it's simple like that. Once you click that search functionality, you can go through the ranking list, or excuse me, the results list. And it'll tell you with this little banner right here what type of content it is. Is it a blog post? Is it a web page? And you can simply click into it and it'll open up a new tab for you to find what you're looking for.
We have a question basically pertaining to how much to what extent did the team review feedback from members on how to redesign the website?
Member feedback was important to us. I believe there was a portion too when there were interviews with stakeholders. I think our stakeholders were also using feedback from our members when trying to create those sites, or excuse me, try to make these optimizations for the new site. And again, as I said before too, as we continue to make optimizations, your feedback is going to be very important to us too. We want to make sure that the site is useful for you all.
Nate, I have another question here. There's quite a few in here. I think someone had asked regarding the banner on the left for social media connections. That's on actually the Exchange, not on the homepage. And that is a sticky bar, what we call a sticky bar. And unfortunately, that cannot move. It does stay in that one place. I know we've had some people say that it blocks some of the words. So that's something I can contact the vendor and see if we can change the size of the sticky bar. And then regarding another question, Nate, you might be able to have some expertise on this. Why are topics not PDFs instead of web pages when you just did your search?
Oh, why are they not PDFs? We have come to find that PDFs can have a bit of a negative impact on our SEO. We do know that PDFs are useful for you, and we aren't going to be moving away from that practice. But it's more useful for us to make sure that you can access these documents from the web pages rather than just the PDFs themselves. And again, it's a negative impact to our search engine optimization to link to SEO. And we've actually kind of seen the impact of that as we've gone through our post-launch reporting. We're noticing that search engine crawlers are pinging us or kind of dinging us in our performance because we have so many PDFs that we've linked to in the past. So that's a strategy we're moving away from just to make sure that we are following best practices for SEO.
We do have a question that perhaps we can't answer, which is to say, how much is the vendor? Someone's trying to look. Someone likes it. They want to redo their synagogue website.
I promise you, please reach out to American Eagle. They're a fantastic team. I can highly recommend. They're worth every cent you spend. And I
Follow
know
up
it's
to
not the jeans. I promise. I know it might sound weird when we say American Eagle, but it is not the jeans.
Got to get a nice jacket. Then we have a follow-up to the previous question. Will PDF documents become available if needed?
Yes, they will. We can make sure they're available to you. And again, we are using PDF documents on the site. Again, it's just a little bit of the changes of how we're presenting them on the site, so we're not getting that SEO performance hit. But there are several instances across the site. For example, if I can quickly find one. Here's an example too. If you ever want to find state resources for your specific state, from the advocacy page, if you go to that, I'll go backwards. If you go to that community association law and lawyers call out, that's down below on the page a little bit, and you click that learn more button. This interactive map feature will allow you to click into a specific state where you can find legislative resources for that specific state. Um, and for example, on this page, we have a number of different, oh, bad example, but this is probably one. Here's an example. So we are still using PDFs on the site. Again, it's just changing up how we're using them. We would rather someone find the New Mexico state page rather than just to find the state summary. Like we want this text to get picked up rather than just the PDF, because again, that can ding us on SEO performance.
Hmm.
Hey, I have one more question. If
Yep.
someone on a board is trying to learn the benefits of CI membership, will they be able to access enough content to make an educated decision? And I would say yes, we have.
Yes, they can. If they again, if they arrive on the page, that second slider that someone see, or they can click this become a member from the drop down. This is where they can find all information on what they can gain from the CIA membership. We have that video there too with the access to join now directly, as well as we have information on all member types that are offered here at CAI. We also have this large checklist of member benefits. We have access for people if you're a recent graduate. If you want to learn about the graduate program here at CAI, we have access for that too as well. Access for large scale members. We have information for like national corporate members, as well as information that relates back to the chapter. So there is plenty of information we feel that someone can gain from or learn to join as a membership or even retain too. And this section of the site, as I said to do before, it will continue to grow. None of this is set in stone. We want to continue to optimize things. If changes need to be made or additions need to be added, we will definitely do that as well.
Hey, can you share the directory of credentialed professionals, please?
Certainly.
Someone had asked about that.
Yeah. Again, just from that resources drop down, you access it from right here. And this is the new directory of credentialed professionals built out to us by American Eagle. And again, you can search. There's a number of different filters you can put in here, but if you simply toggle through the list, you can see all the complete directory here in this chart. And it is quite large. It's quite a large list. Which you notice, some of these are just company names, which is why you might not see first and last name, but it is completely populated with all individuals in the directory of credentialed professionals.
I have another question. You've talked a lot about SEO, and can you just briefly explain how SEO performance helps to grow our membership?
Certainly, certainly. So if you're not familiar with that term, it stands for search engine optimization. And basically it's what I like to say as a marketer, it's like a chess game that you have to play with the internet. With Google, Bing, other search crawlers. I don't know, people might use Ask Jeeves still. But basically what the task is, you want to make sure that if someone's searching for our organization or anything again related to the community association industry, we want to work as hard as possible to rank number one in search results. So that to have people to find us organically like that is just again widening our net and widening our growth of how many people can find us. So that's the big part about SEO is to again grow our digital visibility so that when people are organically searching for terms or topics related to community association industry, we are going to be one of the top results that they find related to that.
I have one other question, let me just see. Someone had an issue, I think Anusha is answering about finding CAIs on the list. But I think that's being answered by Anusha right now.
Oh, thank you, Nisha.
Someone tried to click on a state on it looks like on the last map you were on, and they said nothing happened, but that you're on the advocacy, the blue map.
Yep. Try to click on a state and it didn't work.
So what I've found with that is with some of them, depending on it, if that state doesn't light up when you click on it, it could be depending on the issue. There's no particular guidance on that. So if there's nothing on that, then maybe there isn't anything for that state. It's possible, but it looks like the states are clicking.
Yeah, our goal is to have all 50 states highlighted here.
Yeah.
So yeah, if offline, if someone could please reach out about that state that they're having issues with, we'll make sure to look into that and troubleshoot.
Yeah. Could be a browser issue, could be a number of things. Well, I think that kind of seems like we're on the end of our questions here. So I think with that, it's a little bit earlier than we had planned on, but I think probably it's a good time for us to call it to a close. Do you think so?
Yeah, certainly. No more questions? Thank you, everyone.
There might be a couple here, and I'm happy to
Okay.
follow up with people after.
Yeah.
Just a couple very specific questions, and I'm happy to go through the queue, and I
Yeah.
can reach out to people individually if there are questions not answered.
Yeah, some specific ones. If you can't, Vicky, you can actually, if you want to, you can share your contact info in the chat so that people can follow up if you want. Nate, you can do the same thing if you want to.
Yeah.
If anyone has any particular, like really fine questions that they have about the websites that want a personal follow-up, we'll go ahead and let our presenters share their info in the chat so you can follow up with them directly. I'll wait for them to do that. One last question here that Helen said, and I might have opened this up. Is there any preferred browser, or should this work well with any browser?
It should work well with any browser.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I didn't mean a browser type. Sometimes browser versions can be a little bit old. Who knows?
Yeah, I would say the most recent version of your browser, but yeah, any browser should be suitable for your site. And mobile optimization. That's another big thing I didn't mention. It will work very nicely on your phones nowadays.
Excellent. All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call this to a close. Very special thank you to Nate Folger, Ray Richards, Anisha Kutikonda, Vicky Santinello. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you here again soon. Have we dropped our names, our info in the chat? We have. So if you want to follow up with Nate or with Vicky, go ahead and look at those emails and follow up directly. But with that, we're going to head and call this to a close. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you here again soon. Today's program is copyright by 2024 by Community Associations Institute with all rights reserved. That concludes today's program. Thank you all so much. You may disconnect now.